In every stage of this, I check again for any imperfections that I might have missed, because some of them aren't super obvious at first, but could hurt the wallet in the end if it makes it through the quality checks. I'm Elliot. I do all of the leather work here for the wallets. I cut out the leather and I brand it, and I grommet the pieces that need grommeting. I'm kind of like the pre-prep guy for everybody who assembles the wallets. Anything that needs to be done before the final assembly is what I do over here. I'm making the Element right now, which is one of our more popular wallets. We start off with these big cookie cutter jigs that we place on the leather. We have a big press. Right now it's set to be about 6 tons of pressure when it comes down. It does go up to 24, but we don't really go that high. It makes really angry noises. But then it kind of stamps it out, and this is the first stage of making the Element wallet. Some of our leathers are more problematic than others. This leather in particular is pretty nice. We haven't had very many issues with it. Sometimes the leather will have little surface tears or other blemishes like holes, or occasionally we'll get pieces that are really stretchy, and we don't want that because it kind of makes the wallet not last as long and it just feels cheap. And so I'll look for blemishes inside the leather, and I'll try and avoid those if I can, because we do want to get as much as we can out of the leather, because we get a lot of leather, but sometimes it can take a long time to ship and it can be expensive, so we really want to get the most out of it that we can. Right after stamping it, the first thing I look for is like any surface imperfections that I might have missed before. I'll flip it over and I'll look at the back side. Sometimes there's cuts in the back from when they're scraping it that don't show on the surface, and I want to make sure that there's none of those there. Sometimes I'll check if there's like thin spots, because sometimes those can be hard to find just by looking at it. This piece in particular is pretty good. It doesn't stretch at all, and it doesn't have any like surface imperfections that would worry me. So this would be usable. Depends on the day. Anywhere from 50 to maybe 300 or 400 if I have help over here, like on busy days. Usually by myself, about 100 or so, and then with other wallets in addition to that. But of the Element, usually about 100. After they're stamped out, I take the ones that I've already cut out, and they have little tassels, but I take my little scissors and I'll just trim those off since we don't want those in the finished product. In every stage of this, I check again for any imperfections that I might have missed, because some of them aren't super obvious at first, but could hurt the wallet in the end if it makes it through the quality checks. What I would normally do is I would stamp out all of the wallets so that they're all stamped out. I would trim all of them, and I do all of them at the same time and as I move down the line. So after they're stamped and trimmed, I take them over to this grommet machine here. And what we're doing is we're adding a little metal loop to the snap post, because this is going to reach around like that. And so I'll take the top piece and then the bottom piece. And then we squish them together. After we have them all branded, the next step is to add the snap post for the grommet to hook onto. And we use the little hole there that got stamped out when we cut the wallet out. And to do that, I put it on this little peg here, and I kind of make the hole just slightly wider. Put the brass piece down, I fit this on top of the brass, and we have this little melanite peg that we stick on top. And that adds the post that we use. The wallet is almost done at this point. After we add all the snap posts to all of them, then finally, the last step that I do for the elements over here is I glue the backs of them. We just reinforce some of the areas that kind of have some tension from the sewing or just the general use of the wallet. This is the inventory shelf. The builders will take them off of this shelf and then assemble them on their line. After I'm done with all of that and it's on the shelf, then it's ready to go for whoever needs it. Somebody will come by and pick it up for the builder, and then they ship it off to the other lines for assembly. That's what I do over here.